right, welcome back to the Real Estate Huddle. Today we're going to talk about the day in the life of a South Denver real estate agent. And so we're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to talk about South Denver properties, what makes that unique, and the business of real estate. I'm surprised at how many people are just interested in, like, what is the day in life of a realtor like, and what do they do during the day? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that and really go behind the scenes in real estate today. So first topic is, what does a typical day look like? We've got all four of us are licensed realtors here in South Denver Metro. What do you guys want to open it up? What kind of activities do you do?
I think we all probably have a different routine.
Yeah, so similar.
When you sweat.
Similar to a lot of people I talk to, their conception of my job. I wake up on a bed of money. I make one call, then I go and I cash my checks. And then I go meet with an evil cabal of landlords to increase rents. And then I usually just go golfing, and then I go to sleep.
Golfing. You haven't golfed a day in your life.
I hate golfing. But no, that honestly, like, people tell me, like, oh, your
That's
job's
how I know that
so
was a lie.
easy. Like,
With
With
golf.
his 7-inch inseam shorts.
Yeah.
Show off the quads.
yeah, exactly.
Is that the perception?
A lot of people I talk
Remember,
to,
he's like a
unbelievable.
anyway.
Thanks for breaking us in.
That was good.
Yeah, I think there is a perception of, like, oh, real estate's easy, or, like, I've heard it a bunch of times, like, oh, you guys, you get paid so much more than, like, what you're doing or whatever.
Absolutely.
So I think it is important to kind of go over, like, what the day-to-day is and the things that we do. So I would just kick it off, I guess, by breaking it into two things. That's kind of how I think about it, right? We have transactional stuff.
Yep.
So things that we have to do for our active transactions that are going on. Mm-hmm. And then we have prospecting, where we're growing our business and working on connecting with people.
Yep.
So I'd say that's just what I would start off with, is those are kind of the two main things in my mind.
Yeah. Transactional, you're talking about writing contracts, meeting with appraisers, setting up
Showings.
inspections, showing houses. Those are all activities that we do all the time for people. And then, you have to find business too, right? And figure out how to find business while you're working business. That's, like, probably the biggest factor. So ways to find business, making phone calls, texts, right? Texting's a big one these days, but you have to do a lot of things that are, I guess, a lot of people would consider, like, scary, right? To talk to people maybe that you don't know. And so if you're someone that's kind of shy, or, like, it's hard for you to get out of your shell and talk to people, that would be probably not the right career for you. In my opinion, it's tough to do this business if you're not a little bit fearless and willing to get out there and talk to people.
Yeah, you do have to kind of grow a thick skin as well. Just getting after it and knowing that there's going to be rejection, possibly that day. And
It's a numbers game.
Yeah, I think for me personally, like, the way that I kind of get in the zone, or, get to where I need to be, I have to get moving and motivated early, so that when I do reach that peak, like, energy level of, like, motivation, then I start my prospecting. So, like, I get up pretty early and get a workout in pretty quick as soon as I can. And
You didn't have to tell us, we already knew.
Keep in mind, he has
Just by
4
looking at you.
kids, so that's like 11:30.
In your ice cold garage, right? That's where you work out. most days?
that, or there's a facility that I work at the rink, but
Just say you fill out a sweater
respect,
like that.
man.
yeah,
Respect.
you guys are so stupid. Right?
It sounds just like Jackson's routine.
So I'm, like, deadlifting 500, I'm bench pressing 450, like, just, typical stuff.
Before you cash your checks, or
yeah,
after?
before I cash my checks.
Okay.
But part of that, like, the reason I bring that up is because I get that physical, like, activity in and get that out of the way, right? And not that I want to get it out of the way, but it gets my mind right. It gives me that endorphin rush, and I'm ready to tackle the hardest part of my day, which is, whether you believe it or not, the hardest part of real estate is the prospecting and the finding.
Yeah.
Because of the rejection and because of, you got to make phone calls, and it's not like the sexiest part of the job.
Yeah.
But that is what gets the results. So that's where I have to start. I try to get something in my stomach. I usually pound an energy drink or something that will give me a stimulant, and then boom, I'm on the phone. I'm trying. That's my goal this year, especially, is, like, that's my first thing I'm going to do, because that's when my energy is the highest, and that's when I'm going to be at my optimal level of building a relationship. So that's kind of like my morning routine. And it changes every once in a while because like when you have 4 kids or you have other things that get in the way, dogs, whatever, cats, I don't know, but it can change a little bit. But
I think we all, in our own way, become masters of scheduling on the calendar, blocking it off, whether it's dials, exercise, socialize, lunch meetings. Do it and tell yourself what to do and then do it. That's what makes something that's kind of hard less hard is you just told yourself what to do. Now you just have to do it.
Yeah.
And the good news is there's enough volume of the calls to make or the text to send or the events to plan. But you got to schedule and then you got to do it.
Yeah.
And then I think what I've learned, not being in it as long as some of you guys, is then when the transactional stuff takes over, you could spend a whole bloody day on one transaction. And what did you not do? And then fast forward 6 weeks, because that's when you feel it, when you don't have the transactional stuff to work on because you didn't do the legwork. I don't know if that's unique to real estate versus other careers, but
I think what it
more
is,
magnified.
I think you're an owner-operator. You're a business owner, and you're the person who's conducting said business. Yep. So you have the responsibilities of, hey, I have to do this job as well as I have to manage this whole business as the owner of the business. So there's just more responsibilities, things that come with that. And I also think like the biggest crux of our day-to-day is it's different every day. So you have to be good at critical thinking. You have to be good at problem solving because it's not like a plug and play sort of job where it's like once you learn how to do it, you can come in and just do the same thing and turn your brain off. Your brain has to be turned on because every day there's going to be, here's all the things I need to get done. And then throughout the day, you're going to have things that come up and you have clients who need help and things. So it's different every day, which is why it's kind of hard to pinpoint what my day in real estate is. But I think the main things that we're doing is we're interacting with people face to face. We're researching and learning. Hopefully your realtor is, teaching themselves about the market, learning more, educating themselves, and negotiating. But if I had to try and explain our job to like one of my friends who doesn't quite understand it, you can find a house that you like. You can go onto Zillow and you can find a house that you think is cool. Our job is to protect you from risk in the biggest transaction of your life. So that's risk mitigation, I guess, is just what I would describe it as. We're a bodyguard for your net worth. We're protecting you and your lifestyle. So it's really, a all-encompassing job on some levels that gets reduced down to certain things on a day-to-day.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of menial things that are not necessarily, scheduling a showing. It's not a whole lot of value add. It's very integral. But once you're in contract, I've been in other stuff most of my career. That's when I think we can differentiate ourselves and add value. Protect, mitigate risk, troubleshoot. Some of the most frustrating parts of a deal when something goes sideways with the inspection, or that's the stuff you remember that you feel the proudest of because you get through it.
Yeah. And I mean, I think some of the challenges, you touched on a lot, but like one of the bigger challenges is the market's always changing. It's always different, and so 3 months later you could have a market that's completely different than the one you were just in. We went from a low inventory, crazy low inventory market in the pandemic that was a crisis. Now we went to an affordability crisis, right? And so there's all kinds of different adjustments that have to be made for that. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges.
I think it's like now that I'm thinking about this topic, I'm thinking about kind of the why people ask this question. And I think a lot of people have this question because when they look at how much you can make on a transaction, they're like, man, how can you make that by doing what you do? Because I don't think a lot of people understand what we fully do on a day-to-day basis for our clients. I think a lot of them are like, well, you can set me up on a search and it does it on its own. Like, where's the work in that? But in reality, what you're not seeing is, obviously, we talked about, the finding of all of it. And we prospect, we call, we market, we do open houses, we do all that stuff, right? But when it comes to, like, I know for us, and this isn't every agent, right? But I am a firm believer that we earn what we make because of what we do specifically on our team. And so when I'm done with my prospecting, this kind of goes into the day-to-day, right? When I know I've done my prospecting and I can check that off, right? My next move and my next vision is, okay, of all my clients that I've got that are searching for a house or getting ready to sell, what can I do for them? So if you're a seller, I'm going through looking at your house specifically. I'm looking at every freaking comp I can in your neighborhood. I'm going through the previous listings that you've had on your house, but when you bought it, if it's still available. I'm going through, I'm asking you questions, making sure I fully understand your house. I'm scheduling appointments with you to make sure, or having those appointments with you, walking through your house, making sure everything's good to go so that we can get you the most money possible and protect that equity for you. And that's just a small list, and there's plenty more for that. If you're a buyer, I'm not just setting you up on a search. Like, I'm literally going through outside opportunities, whether they've been on the market for a long time, whether I think, they could, they might be outside your price range, but I think they could come down. I'm looking at all the options that you're not seeing.
Yeah.
I'm calling realtors. I'm asking about their listings.
Right.
I am knocking on doors in some cases for you for homes that aren't even on the market.
Yeah.
I'm making those cold calls. I'm doing everything I can.
Sending out letters.
I'm sending out letters.
Yeah.
Like, you tell me what you want me to do.
Yeah.
And if it's within the law, I'm doing it.
Yep.
Right?
Definitely.
It's not just, here's a search. Good luck. Let me know when you want to see a home.
Yeah. And a good insight that you're kind of alluding to is like, you have to go above and beyond in this business.
Especially in a market like now.
Yeah.
Like, we're in a much more balanced market, and you want that guy that's going to be like after it. You want to be the cutthroat guy that is not only going to find you the property that you never saw, that's your dream home, but the one that's going to negotiate for you to the very end to get you the very best possible opportunity.
And
So,
not just be a pleaser.
Yeah.
I'd love to piggyback off of that, because like what you were both hinting at, and kind of why I think people don't understand our job, is it's the whole iceberg phenomenon, right? So people see the top of the iceberg sticking out of the water of like, this is when I interacted with my realtor and the things that I saw them do personally. And they don't see all the rest of the iceberg that's under the water. So just like an example, maybe we're in an active transaction, something comes up. I am going to spend a lot of time going through, I'm going to pull as much information and comps as I can so that when I go talk to the other agent, I have all the information, I have all the answers, I can negotiate them into a corner. Then I go and I talk to your lender and I work things out with them. Then I'm setting things up with the title company. So let's say, just hypothetically, I could do 5 hours of work, and then I call the client and I say, hey, great news, man. I got you that concession that you wanted. We're going to get the fridge fixed and you're all good to go. And they say, great. And it's stress-free for them. And for them, they say, what my realtor did is he called me and he said, hey, we got it for you.
Yeah.
But they don't know that, hey, I've been working my butt off and I've been pit bulling this other agent all day, and it might just sound like, hey, hooray, we got it for you, but we've been working.
Jackson, you maybe have never been so well spoken in your life.
I swear, you just
Caffeine. There's a lot more caffeine.
you literally just
Nailed it.
on top of all that we do, we are firefighters at the same time, right? We're putting out those fires, like the ones that they don't even know. I can't tell you, this past year was a huge learning opportunity for me. I'll put it that way. Like, I've never, like, I just, before Jackson said all that, I was just talking about the prospective buyers and sellers. After I'm done with that, I'm going to the administrative stuff that's already under contract. And I don't know if I've ever, well, I won't say that, but the amount of work that we go through the inspection process, through potential like appraisal issues, through like HOA docs, all the due diligence documents that we read through to make sure that there's no red flags. Like, we don't just like glance over it. Like, we're reading as much of every word as possible so that you're fully aware. And if we have to go back and renegotiate, I can't tell you how many conversations I have with the agent without my clients really knowing the full extent of what's happening. But yeah, you go back to them, you're like, hey, just so you know, I got you this. Yeah. And they don't see the blood, sweat, and tears that you're going through at that moment, but they're just like, hey, thanks. And because our job is to make that experience for you the best possible experience you've ever had.
Exactly. And when you, like you're saying, as a firefighter,
right?
Yeah.
if a fire comes up, what we don't want to do as an agent is just call you and say, hey, there's a problem. I don't really have a solution for it, but I'm just telling you right now there's a problem.
You want to come with answers.
Exactly.
Right?
I want to be able to call that person and say, hey, man, I don't want to stress you out. It's already resolved, but here's what came up. Here's how we figured it out. Also, remember when I told you 2 weeks ago that this was a possibility, so you were prepared. Yeah. Like, there's just more that goes into it. So people see the tip of the iceberg,
Definitely.
but we're working hard.
One guy's approach. I don't know that I have situations where something blew up, I addressed it, and all they knew is like, next step, everything went fine. I tend to be more involved.
Client has the final say. I don't want you guys to think we're operating past fiduciary
A lot of times
duty.
what we'll do is saying we're left with two options after all the negotiation. What's more important to you? Or remember when we were getting to know each other 3 months ago, we leaned towards this being more important. Anyway, so it's a lot more involved. But that's really it's very rewarding, as hard as it can be. Mm-hmm. Like I've learned a lot, and I don't mean to pick on anyone, but not everyone is trained the same way, goes about the same way. I've met other agents who didn't read the offer.
Yeah.
And things come up at closing, and you're like, what are we talking about? But they didn't actually read. So
I remember that one.
Remember? Yeah, very very hard lesson. Not for me, but for
But I think the biggest thing too is like you figured the emotions that are involved with people's homes.
Yeah.
It's their home,
it's a very
right?
emotional process.
And so like a home owner has had all those memories in the house. It's like such an emotional thing for them now that they're selling, right? And if it's not represented properly, then people have a very hard time with that. And so the pressure that you get on the listing side, I think, is one of the challenges of the business. And it's also the fact that those emotions kind of bring the crazy out of people sometimes that you work with. 95% of the people we work with are awesome, but I think that there's a few crazies that you deal with that can stress you out or that can take a lot of your energy away. And it can go with agents too, right? There's some crazy agents that you work with on the other side. So you got to negotiate sometimes with the other agent on the other side that maybe half crazy, and also a very emotional client sometimes to help them for their best interest, right? To help them avoid tripping over themselves sometimes because of their emotions. And so there's a lot of skill that goes into the negotiation aspects of it that you have to acquire through reading, listening to podcasts, understanding how the principles of negotiation work and how to handle people. There's a lot of skill set that I believe is involved.
I was going to make that earlier, but this is we joke, contact business. Like you're always interacting with people, and internet makes things seemingly so easy. But I'll give you like 97 stories about, my God, it looks so nice in the photos, and then it smells bad, etc. So one of the most fun parts in prepping the really mundane stuff of getting ready to go show someone 9 homes in a day is talking to the other agents and getting the story. Sometimes that means you don't go see a couple, or sometimes, to your point, wow, I saw another one similar to that, whatever. There's a lot of creating a story, better contact. It's obviously a much better service level. Throughout a transaction, we're just strengthening relationships. A lot of times you work with people you know. Yeah. Sometimes you meet them early on and you're still hugging them at the end of a transaction, but you're getting to know them. And a great way to do that is presenting something. Yeah, it smelled. This is what we learned next time, etc. So that interaction. I know you talked about talking to other agents. I love talking to other agents.
Oh yeah.
You get a leg up sometimes. You get a whole lot of context. You get trends. You get a lot of candor if you ask questions a certain way.
Yeah.
And all that benefits our clients.
And on top of all that, right? So when it comes to like what we're doing behind the scenes, like for example, like when you're talking to an agent, there are good things and bad things to do when talking to an agent that you're submitting an offer with, right? And what does that come down to? That comes down to the training you've been given and how much you've invested in yourself and in your business, right? So for me personally, every once in a while you might see a post of like, hey, I'm in this class, or I'm at this convention, or I'm out doing this thing that I'm educating myself with.
Yeah.
I'm not there to party. I'm not there to, just hang out with my realtor buddies. I'm literally there bettering myself so that I can better the transaction for you. So I can better your experience, right? So when you have guys like us or a team like us, that's how we set ourselves apart from the competition, is educating ourselves and betting ourselves in our negotiation tactics and just an overall experience. Mm-hmm. And that is a huge part of what we do, maybe not every single day. However, that's not true either. Like, we're always, whether it's role playing or just going over, podcasts or whatever, or maybe it's the big conventions, we're always bettering ourselves to better the experience for you guys. And it takes money. Like, it's not just free stuff.
Yeah. Like,
we are spending dollars that we make on these transactions for not only that, but the marketing, the the opportunities that give us, things for you. Like, it's just there's a lot that goes into it that, like I said, not a lot of people fully understand or even know that we have to do. This isn't just we make a paycheck just to set you up on a search. That is far from the truth.
Where we started talking about the structure of our day and what we do, and I don't know, when you learn something hard or not, you're better for it, and you get a little better kick in the step when you make that next phone call next morning.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think if you're, somebody who's looking to become a realtor, you're thinking about this being your job, maybe you're going to be in the South Denver area, you're considering a real estate career. I think we touched on an art and a science. So there's like the hard math, looking at statistics, looking at data. And then there's also the people skills that when I negotiate with another agent, like, I'm listening to every single thing that they say. And your agent that you're working with that I talk to sings like a canary. And they tell me so much. Like, if I just ask them the right questions.
It's part of what I was getting at, but it's all about how you ask the question.
It is terrifying to me, legitimately scary, some of the agents that I interact with and how poorly they can negotiate and how much they give up information-wise that hurts their client. So that's the art and science of it. And like, to me, it is an artwork. Like, I like talking to my friends to say, hey, this is my buddy. He's a server. He owns 3 properties now. I got him these great deals. I got him all of these concessions. Like, a painter paints a painting and, they want to show it off. My friends think I'm annoying because I'm always like telling them about what a negotiation thing I did and how I got this for my client. So if that sounds interesting to you, maybe that's why you're watching a day in the life video. I'd say try it out, get some experience, call some brokerages and say, hey, I want to learn. What's your top team? Get me connected with them and try it out.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, no, and I think like summing it up, like the best rewards from this business are the personal growth that you feel through this business is awesome. Being a part of like the key moments, right, for people to find their dream home or to protect their equity and that satisfaction that you feel when they see the value, right, that we provide. And then I think another one is just, we had kind of had a moment at the Christmas party when we had our Buddy the Elf party at the ice rink, and we had all these people that were gathered there, and it was like, man, we built a network. Like, this is cool, and every individual on our team has their own like personal network, right, that we kind of pool together at these events. And it's just really fun to see the network that comes out of it. So I think that there's a lot of great things, and then obviously great financial impact. The sky's there's no ceiling. Sky's the limit as far as what you can do and how much you can earn in this business the harder you work. The other thing is there's no floor.
Yeah.
So you can also not make anything if you don't do much.
Pretty quick.
Yeah.
No, I think that's been the best part of being in this business is the relationships that I've created. And like it's interesting how things work out. Like some of my best friends now are clients that are like out of state clients.
Yeah, it's true.
Like, and we like, as far as like, we spend some holidays with them. Like it's the craziest thing. And that's probably one of the most rewarding things is creating those relationships because we gave them a good experience. And they're like, I like this guy. Yeah. He's a pretty good guy.
I'd add to that being, coming from a different career, building deep relationships, and now having them trust you with this transaction is very rewarding to know you built a great relationship, but you took it to some other place.
Yeah.
And that's something I spend that's part of my every single day is connecting with people I just love. I like hanging out with. They know what I do. I don't say it.
Yeah.
But we spend a lot more time together, and
And there are also
Those
people
that
that I
know.
never want to see again.
Just being honest.
It's very rare, actually.
I've not one of those.
Right.
No.
So, yeah, and I think for, like we were talking earlier about how every day is different and it's exciting, that may be really attractive for some people, and it may be something that's like, ooh, I don't want that, So depending on where you're at, you may have different thoughts there, but hopefully it's been interesting. I think it's a topic that a lot of people have been searching for, looking for other opportunities with the economy the way it is and stuff. So if you have questions about what it's like, the day in the life of a real estate agent here in Denver, feel free to put them in the comments section below. And if you'd like to reach out to us, you're welcome to do that as well. We're always willing to have a conversation, and we love meeting more good people. So thanks for listening, and we'll catch you on the next episode.